Welcome to another episode of Woman Witness TV, The Stories at the Well. I'm your host, Leah Fortier. Today I have a very special topic and a very special gift. I'm going to go ahead and introduce my guest, but I'm going to read a little bit about her before I bring her in. Today we have the pleasure of interviewing a remarkable guest, a professional makeup artist, esthetician, natural hairstylist, beauty educator, and with a miraculous story. A woman who defied the odds and achieved great success as an onset makeup artist. Matilda Marie shares her story through her work as a professional film and television makeup artist. She offers a unique insight with guidance on how to live a fulfilled life while prioritizing major health issues. Her work can be seen on local and global brands like Hulu, Peacock, Under Armour, and MSNBC. Matilda has found a way to sustain her health while pursuing her dreams and wants every woman to know that it's possible with a core support and an unshakable faith. Today, I am thrilled to introduce to you my guest today, Matilda Marie. Matilda, welcome to the well, girl.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you so much.
Thank you for being here, Matilda. I cannot wait to dive into your story and let some of these women know. I one of the things that really stood out to me when you filled out your inquiry form was when you said that it's possible with core support and unshakable faith. It gave me chills.
It's giving me chills now. It's giving me chills
Woo!
now because
Mm.
God favors us when our faith is just unshakable. And that means whatever is going on around us, if we just stay in His will, He will answer.
Mm. And I believe that so much. It's interesting, and this is not even what we're talking about, but I want to get into it. But I have been reading about David and Goliath. I know the story. I've read it a million times, but David had that unshakable faith. Couldn't tell him nothing about that Philistine. Okay. Um, okay. All right. So you will tell us about your Philistine today. All right. All right. So, okay. So before we get started, I want to give the floor back to you, and I'm going to shut up for a second. And I'm going to ask you just to introduce yourself to us. Tell us a little bit about who you are and your background and how you became Matilda Marie, honey.
My background is I was raised by strong women.
Mm,
My name comes from strong women in my
there you go.
family. My first name
Mhm.
is my great grandmother's name, and my
Mm,
middle name, which is Marie, is from my great aunt. And they both took care of
mm,
me along with my grandmother and the other women in my family. So that core
mm,
strength that I have, I've seen it in everyday living, just coming up. So that's where it comes from. And Matilda
mm.
Marie, it exemplifies the strength that I carry in my family.
Yeah, yeah, I like that. I
Thank
love
you.
that so much. And if you don't mind me asking, it has nothing to do with anything, but I can see your picture on your
Mhm,
around your neck.
mhm. This
Who
is my
who?
mom. She
Okay.
recently passed, and if it was not for her, because she was also a cosmetologist, hairstylist, and I got my beauty knack from her, and so she passed unexpectedly, and so I just carry her wherever I am because my success is her success, and so
Oh,
I wear her jewelry, so it just reminds me of why I do what I do. She was already
oh,
proud, so I just want her
oh.
for the journey.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that. I am so sorry to hear that.
Thank
And
you.
I love what you said. You said that you carry her with you, and I can not only tell that you not only carry her within you, and
Mhm.
you showcase everything about her. She's so beautiful. I'm looking at
Thank
her picture now, and I can
She's my
actually see it
twin. Well, I'm her twin.
clear.
Identical almost.
I can see it's so
Mhm.
beautiful, very beautiful. Okay,
Thank
thank
you.
you for sharing that. I'm a little nosy. I'm sorry.
Oh, no,
Um,
it's okay.
so tell us, how did you get into? You said your mother was in cosmetology, so she taught you everything you know.
Taught me all the roller sets, how to wash and condition, you know? My
Yes.
mom went to cosmetology school in the 70s and 80s,
Oh
so
my God.
she was able to instill in me those basic principles of being a
Yeah.
hairstylist before I even went to cosmetology school. And I actually started off as an esthetician. I've only been
Okay.
a hairstylist since the pandemic. I went back to cosmetology school during
Really?
the pandemic, so I haven't been a hairstylist long, but I do have those skills
Yeah.
to start. Hmm.
Okay, hold on. I want to share something. A lot of people may not know. They know, I mean, I do a lot of things, but I went to cosmetology school. It was a part of like a high school program, and I
Hmm.
went and got my cosmetology license.
Hmm.
And girl, I remember them roller sets. Oh, and them
Yes.
finger waves.
Yes. Yes.
Gosh, I could not. I'm trying to tell you, I did so bad in the finger waves every time. I mean, my teacher, his name was Mr. K, and he'd be like, Leah, and I'm like, I could. It was a mannequin head.
Yes.
You
With that
are they
plastic
still
hair.
doing that? Do they still make
Yeah,
you do finger waves?
they do. They do.
That's ridiculous. I mean, but
Mhm.
the finger waves are coming back though.
They are coming back.
It's
Everything
ridiculous.
comes back around.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let me get off of it. Okay. I love the fact that, well, this wasn't even in my notes, but I seen that you do natural hair. So you started in back in 2020. What was going, I mean, we know what was going on unless you was living under a rock in 2020. What made you go back and get your cosmetology license and start doing hair?
Well, during the filming, and during the pandemic, they needed to conduce the size of the people on set working. And so they were only hiring makeup artists or hairstylists that did both jobs. I was already styling hair, but I
Yeah.
wasn't licensed to do hair. The natural hair course was like a 3-month program, six
Oh,
months, but I did it in 3 months because I went all day. And so I I
how many
did those.
hours do you need again? I
The
forgot.
hours the hours were 450 hours
Yes.
just for the natural hair. Yes.
Okay.
And
Well, where is
so
that? That sounds familiar. Is that in Texas?
it's in Texas. Yes. And what's crazy is right after I received my natural hair license, they cut out the program. You can no longer get that program in Texas.
Really? So it was a program just for natural hair?
Just for natural hair. It's a specialty license. By me getting the permit just to do hair, so I already had the license as an esthetician. And as we
Mhm.
know, makeup artists in Texas do not need a license to practice makeup artistry. But
Oh,
because
okay.
I have that background as an
Uh-huh.
esthetician, I'm able to sanitize and have that knowledge of how to work with different people and not cross contaminate. It's a whole thing. It's a lot.
Sounds like a lot. And I want to commend you for hearing that call, Matilda, because I believe that there was a small window where everything was opening for us. And I'm going to say us, everybody, okay? Men, women, female, black, white, everything. And if you got in that window, it sets you up for where you are today. So now everybody's trying to flood it, but they're going to have to go the long way. You got to hear that call when that call is calling you to move quickly.
Exactly. I
Okay.
tell people all the time, COVID showed you and yourself if you were going to sink or swim. It
Yes.
really challenged us to either be better
Yes.
or stay where we were.
Yes.
And I
Yes.
refuse to stay. Well, that's I refuse to stay where I am. You know,
Yes.
I just cannot stay. I'm just going to keep going. That was my philosophy. I'm just going to keep going.
Where does that come from?
My faith, it comes from just always want to learn, always want to be better, always wanting to evolve
Yeah.
and show
Yeah.
I'm an auntie. And so just to show
Yeah.
my nieces that it
Yeah.
can be done,
Yeah.
that sometimes things are hard, but with
Yeah.
faith and with your perseverance, you can
Yeah.
do it. And I know it sounds cliche, and I know a lot of us say that all the time,
All
but
the
it
time.
really is true. You have to be faithful and
Yeah.
steadfast in what you're doing.
You got to have that, like you said, that resiliency to keep going. Let me go to my notes. I'm sorry. And you were so right, so right. During the pandemic, you're able to do more. You're now licensed, so you're able to do more. You just opened up those borders. You opened up your resume to be able to be booked for more jobs. So your work demand, okay? I can only imagine that it got a little bit heavier. So talk to some of us who don't know what that looks like. I mean, for me, I'm sorry, it looks, help me say this right. It looks pretty cool. I mean, I've seen movies, honey, and I've seen Unset. I'm like, ooh, this looks like fun. Okay, tell some of us who don't know what that looks like.
I just want to say that makeup artistry in the field, not in the pretty setup at salon, but out in the field, you're in the elements, you're in the heat, you're in the rain, you're in the cold. I did one documentary where we had a 3 a.m. call, and imagine I was on dialysis at this time. And I did my own dialysis 10 hours a night at home. So imagine having a 3 a.m. call. Do you know what time I had to get to bed to do my treatment to be up for 3 a.m.? And so getting to set at 3 a.m. on a farm, I had on rubber boots. It's not pretty. It's not no wig, a hat, you're bundled up. It's not glamorous as people think it is. It's just not.
Oh, okay. So you just put this in a whole different set for me
Hopefully I have.
because so sometimes for us who don't know, I mean, we're looking at it from the outside in, right? And for me, I always think somehow for some reason that this is all manufactured. This is all like brought in. You're not really on a farm. You're not really out in the cold. This is what I thought. Okay, I'm wrong.
I took a class with a director of hair in the
Uh-huh.
industry. We had to take a class on how to survive in the swamp,
Oh no,
how to
ma'am.
be up in the mountains in the snow, what gear we needed. Like this is serious business. It's no joke.
Oh my
It's no
God.
joke. What type of
Oh.
clothing to buy? Like it's major. It's
Oh
major.
wow.
And the
Okay.
liability is real.
Yeah, well, I know it is. It sounds like it. so, and if you think about it, I think like, when you are behind the scenes, if you will, and you're preparing everything. I'm pretty sure you have a sheet of how these people need to look, how they need to, be prepared, and you have to be there that much earlier. You got to do your work and to know what you're doing. So tell me, how did you manage that demand of it all?
I loved it so much. And
Mm,
because I loved it and I want to do a great job,
yeah.
it's my job to be great. It's my job to
Mm,
follow the direction of the
mm,
department heads. That's my job. And when I deliver, and this is a small business, and I say it's small,
mm.
although Hollywood and it's all global, it's
Yeah.
small because one negative review, one negative mishap that you didn't handle well, it travels. Because
Oh,
we all know someone who works.
know somebody.
I know producers, I know PAs,
Mhm,
I know
mhm,
ADs. So
mhm.
everyone knows someone. And if
Yeah.
you're not that pleasant to work with, or you can't take accountability for your mistakes, it gets
Mm,
out. And I don't
mm,
ever want that to be a stain on my record. I want to do my job and I want to do it well. And if I
yeah.
don't know anything, I'm going to go to someone who does.
I know that's right. That makes a lot of sense. And that's where crafting your profession, that's where that comes in play at. You mentioned a little bit about you doing your own dialysis. So I didn't share this at the beginning, but I want you to tell, if you don't mind sharing with us a little bit about, you said that you were a two-time renal transplant recipient. Can you share with us how this experience shaped you as a individual and being able to move with time and with your profession?
It
Mm,
was very difficult. Dialysis is a very difficult thing. And I've been on dialysis twice. The
mm,
first time I received a kidney transplant, I had only been on dialysis 2 years.
mm.
And so, in my mind, although it was awful, two
Yeah.
years is really not a long time. But this
Mm,
last time, I was on dialysis 9 years, 7 days a
mm,
week. I did it myself at home.
Mm,
And I still pursued my career because my autoimmune disease was running so rapid through my body. My
mm.
mindset was, if I succumb to my disease, at least I want to try to live out my
Yes.
dreams, whatever that looks like.
Yes,
So when
absolutely.
when I wasn't sick and I was able to function and go to
Mhm,
class and learn something new,
mhm.
or just take a small job, I did. And
Yeah.
so doing those small things, those small steps, I tell
Yes.
people all the time, my tears watered these seeds that are now happening in my life. With
Yes.
everything that I'm receiving, my tears watered those seeds because it
Yes.
was difficult. And I knew it was difficult, but I knew I didn't want any regrets. I didn't
Yes.
want those type of regrets that I should have tried or I could have tried. So I just tried.
Yes. Oh
And
my
because
god.
I tried, God blessed it.
Yes, that's that unshakable faith. Okay, if you don't mind us asking, when you said 2 years doesn't seem like a long time, but I guess 2 years in comparison to 9 does. But any time sounds long. Tell us, for some people who even may be going through something like this right now, when did you get diagnosed? How did you even find out?
I was diagnosed with an autoimmune disease at 12 years old.
My
I
God.
just wanted to play basketball. And because
Mm,
I wanted to play basketball, I needed a physical.
yeah.
And so then the physical highlighted, the issues that I was having.
Ah,
And I dealt with it through all of that time. And then at 26 years old,
mhm.
I went into renal failure. My kidneys failed.
Mm. No other symptoms until 26.
Hmm.
Oh
Hmm.
my gosh.
Hmm.
Wow. I think about how you might have been able to, and during this time, I'm sure that somebody talked to you, your mom, on how to, at least what that looks like, how to deal with it. And so were you already prepared for
I
what this
wasn't
would look like?
prepared. I wasn't. None of us were prepared. I wasn't prepared. Although I was up under the doctor's care with my autoimmune disease,
Uh-huh.
I wasn't prepared for it because one minute I'm fine and then the next minute I'm not. And
Like that.
so, and
Mm.
I had a praying doctor, which is very rare. I had a doctor who
Wow.
I was with for 20 years. He recently retired. I was his last patient. I'm like,
Oh,
doctor,
wow.
please, you can retire. I'm fine.
Oh,
But
I love
he stuck
it.
with me the entire time. And he
Yeah.
knew I was young. And
Yeah.
he said, you're going to get through this. God is going to bless you. And when he said, God is going to bless you, because I've been in the church my whole life. I've been a
Okay.
believer. I was baptized at 8. So I knew
Oh,
what that meant.
wow.
And
Yeah.
when he spoke those words to me, that was the catalyst I needed to okay,
Yeah.
we're gonna stand strong on this and I'm gonna
Yeah.
do what I have to do to survive.
Yes. Wow. Okay, I got to ask you another question. For some women who are listening, you said you did your dialysis by yourself. So somebody had to educate you on how to do that.
I
So
had to train with my nurse. It was
okay.
a 2-day training session.
Okay.
And, I could call any time of day or night to get help, but they
Mm,
train you. They teach you how to prepare your home. And because I
mm,
was an esthetician and I understood cross cross contamination, sanitation, all of those things, those skills worked in what I needed to do for myself
mm.
because the area had to be
Clean,
clean and
sanitized.
sanitized and in order and
Yeah.
organized. So,
Yeah.
mhm.
Uh, my mind is going a million miles per hour, but I have to calm down because I don't know. And I want to ask you, is there a service out there for people and I hate to say it, but there's so many young women who are being diagnosed, not women, I'm gonna say women and men, but this is a woman's podcast. So women who are being diagnosed with different things that they have to do dialysis and they have to be educated on these things. Is there a service that comes out to you that you can reach out to and say, can you teach me how to do this myself? Can you come and help me prepare my home? Can I call you almost like a doula? Is there something like that?
It's supplied through your clinic and it's
Okay.
supplied through your doctor. So once you and your doctor start talking about where your level of failure is, because there's
Mhm.
5 different levels in kidney failure,
Mhm.
then the nurses, the nutritionists, the social workers, everyone comes in and they basically map out a care plan for you and the
Mm.
do's and the don'ts. And the most difficult part of dealing with kidney health is your diet. Your diet has to be I tell people all the time, although I was on dialysis, I was the healthiest I've ever been. And people don't understand when I say that because I had to keep my cholesterol down. My blood pressure had to be under control. I went to about 70% plant-based. Everyone doesn't have to do that, but I had special circumstances because I've already had a kidney transplant. And so I needed to condition my body to receive a second one. So there are things that you can do on your own, especially diet. I preach diet. Diet is number one.
Yes, it is. And listen, we can be here a whole nother hour because I have so many thoughts on that. Honestly, I get a little upset too. This is not on my notes, but since you're talking about it, I get a little upset too, especially when they came out with this Ozempic diet. I get a little disturbed, if you will, that one, why do we have to wait to people get to a place where they have diabetes to where they need to be on this medication? If there is a medication out there that we can introduce to people who are obese, who have, just, the way we were brought up, what we eat in our homes, a lot of us weren't taught this. Okay, Matilda, I'm sorry, this has nothing to do with it, but a lot of us, we weren't taught this. I mean, I remember making Kool-Aid, honey, and listen, do you know how much sugar I put in Kool-Aid? I mean, this is what we were taught. I mean, this is what we seen growing up. I mean, from fried food to Twinkies and soda. These are things that if we introduce this, at a younger age, one, we would not be so subject to getting diabetes and have to, be on these medications, and we are losing too many loved ones. And it's all in our diet. Okay, I gotta calm down. I'm calm down. I'm sorry.
It is. And I'm just going to say if you go to the doctor, because hypertension is a silent killer, there's no real symptoms for hypertension.
Mm.
Hypertension and diabetes are the number one cause of kidney failure. So
Oh,
if you go to the doctor and your doctor is telling you your blood pressure is high, your sugar is high, you have to make those changes. He's going to write your prescription, but you have to have the personal discipline. It's the discipline.
yeah, it is.
I
It's
was
in all of our
224
food.
pounds. I was 224 pounds. I lost 80 pounds
Oh my gosh.
just on diet. That was
Oh my
before
gosh.
exercise. That was before the medication. Diet. Diet is what
Diet.
saved me. Diet.
You didn't do no
Diet.
exercise. You just changed your diet.
I just changed my diet.
I believe it. I
I could
believe
have
it.
I could have lost the weight. I lost the weight in 9 months. I could have lost it in half that probably, but with exercise. But I'm from Houston. I'm from a traditional Southern
Yeah,
family. We fry everything.
yeah,
And
we do.
so it took me boycotting Sunday dinner and saying, I'm not coming. No, I'm not bringing cornbread and mac and cheese because those are my two dishes. I'm not bringing
Somebody
any.
else gonna have to make it.
Yes, I literally boycotted Sunday dinner. And I said, I am not coming because y'all put meat in the vegetables. At least stop putting meat in the vegetables so I can eat. And it took me
Mm.
about 6 months. And my grandmother said, my grandmother, if I changed my grandmother's mind, she was just
Oh,
like, we didn't put any meat in the vegetables, baby. Are you coming? Because it
oh,
takes that. It takes
it does.
someone
It takes a
saying,
village.
hey, okay, we know she need a kidney. Like we can't keep pumping this in
Mm,
her and expecting her to bring food. So
mm,
I was just like, no, I'm not coming.
mm, 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 mm. Ooh, that says so much, Matilda. That
Mhm.
says so much about us. And even, and people like to look at you and go, oh, she changed. She's this and she that. I
You know,
mean,
Leah, I'm catching it all. I'm catching it
hmm
all right
hmm
now. But if it's
yeah,
not my diet, I wouldn't be here as of now.
yes,
Because if
yes,
I wasn't healthy enough, because if you're not healthy, they'll take you off the list. They'll
yeah.
disqualify you from the list. So there's
Mm,
a lot of things people don't understand
mm.
behind being on a transplant list to receive an organ. You can't even have a cold if they call you and say we got a kidney. If you got a cold, the sniffles, it's a
It's
no.
done.
And so because I had previously had a
Mm,
transplant, so I understood what the stakes were.
yeah,
And so
yeah.
I couldn't allow my family or anyone else to get in the way of that. So I was just like, I'm not coming. And it changed.
It did. Ooh, I can hear you it's giving this speech to a
Mhm.
lot of women, youth, because if we don't do the work within ourselves, how can
Yes.
we be prepared for what is next for us?
Mhm. Truly,
Mm,
it's discipline. God
mm.
wants us to show ourselves approved. That means he want us to do the work. He's going to bless it. It's
He's gonna
blessed
do it.
already. It's done.
Yeah,
But what are we going to do?
yeah, yes,
And that was
yes.
my entire thought process this 9 years.
I love that thought process. I love that thought process. I feel like sometimes, so often, a lot of us, we feel like, oh, I'm gonna get my life together soon. I'm gonna do this soon. Oh, I'm gonna stop it now. But why not start now? You got to start somewhere. I do believe that God will push us over, but we have to start ourselves. We have to have that willpower to turn down that plate, that willpower to leave them people alone, them people that keep dragging you down, those people that keep bringing you back to where you already evolved from. Okay. Ooh, tell the girl we could be talking all day long. I didn't forget. Hold on, where are we at here? Okay. Okay, I love, 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 love this conversation that we're having. And you already said that you grew up in church. So I want you to talk to some of those women who are maybe in your situation and they don't have that mustard seed of faith to hold on to. They may not even have the community around them to say, you know what, pull them through when they're feeling down or where they feel that they can't do it. Talk to some of those women on how they can begin to work on themselves to at least try to do a little bit better with their health.
You just have to believe in yourself. You
Mhm.
just have to believe and pull from a power that you don't even understand. We
Mm,
all hold a power inside of us that we don't know what we can or will not do until our back is up against the wall.
mm,
And if your life is in a place that you don't recognize and that you don't love, you have the power to change it. You
mm,
really do.
mm. Oh, that's good. Okay. That's really good. Thank you for sharing that because I know that there's a lot of us who are in a place and we don't believe. I know, for instance, I know a lot of our listeners, a good part of our listeners, some are still beginning to walk this journey, and some have found strength and found solace from listening to some of these podcasts because they don't know what it's like. They don't know that they too can get past whatever it is that they're working through. So thank you for sharing that. I want to just ask you a couple more questions. I want to ask you a little bit about, you said in the beginning that you have found a way that women can live a fulfilled life, but even if they are battling internal or health issues. So, how can they live a fulfilled life and pursue their careers and their goals at the same time?
They have to prioritize what's important. And I know as women, sometimes we have partners or husbands, we're married or not married, we have children, we don't have children, we always have something in our lives that we have to take care of. But why can't we start with number one? We have to take care of ourselves first before we can dish it out. I tell my sisters all the time, my cup has to be running over before I can help fill yours. Not full, running over. Because when it's running over, that means I'm able to pour in your cup as well. I can't pour in your cup when my cup is only halfway. I can't. It's just not possible. And by me prioritizing my health first and then letting everything else follow, it completely worked out that way. I had to take care of myself first. I did.
Yeah, I feel that so, so much. You cannot pour from an empty cup. And I never actually thought about it that your cup does have to be running over. It does. Because if you just start pouring when you think it's full, you'll deplete yourself that much faster. Yeah, I definitely I love that. That's some great advice. Okay, Matilda, for anyone who is looking to get into the makeup industry and start their career paths along that route, what advice would you give them?
I would give them the advice to figure out what it is exactly they would want to do. Where do you want to start? What is your ultimate goal? And
Mm,
depending on your ultimate goal, if you don't, I know practicing makeup artistry is an art and you
mhm,
don't need a license to do it in certain states, but I
mhm.
encourage people to get an esthetician license because it
Oh,
gives you a level of curriculum that self-taught is great. I am
yeah,
not knocking anyone who did it self-taught, but
yeah.
having that license, it gives you options. So when
Amen.
you're not working on set,
Mhm.
you can go work at a spa. You can do part time at your local theater. There are a number of things you can do with a
Mm.
license instead of being just self taught because you can't work in most salons without a
No,
license.
no.
So you have to give
Mhm.
yourself options. It's almost like the piece of paper, like the degree. People say you need a
Yeah,
degree, and you
yeah.
really don't need a degree. But when you do have a degree, you have options.
Correct.
Give yourself options. And
Yes.
that's what my initial thought was with the esthetician license. And being
Yeah.
ill this entire time, I'm just like, I need this license so I can work when I can and take care of
Yes.
myself when I can. It gave me an
Yeah.
option.
Yes. Gave you option, gave you flexibility,
Yes.
open more doors for you.
Hmm. Hmm.
I agree 110%. And then by you going and getting your license to do cosmetology, opened up more doors for you.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
you can control your schedule.
Hmm.
You can control how much money you want to make.
Hmm. It's true.
um, because they will pay you more if you have a license, right?
They do. They do.
Mm, okay. All right. This is good. This is good. Oh, you need to go. You need to find like your local, like, cosmetology program with young girls who are, debating if they should just go ahead and, do it on the side. And ain't nothing wrong with doing it on the side, right? Because
Hmm.
that gives you that
Hmm.
freelancing
Hmm.
option. But
Hmm.
get it.
Yeah.
Get it.
Seriously, there are more options. I'm going to drop a name, but I
Mhm.
did a class with Camille Friend.
Oh,
Camille Friend is the makeup department chair behind Black Panther, The Little Mermaid, and
oh,
yeah, she's she's great.
okay.
And
Uh-huh.
so taking her class for film makeup artistry, it just opened a new perspective. I
Mm.
love working in salons and love
Mhm.
servicing that
Mhm.
everyday client. But
Mhm.
sometimes with the economy not doing as well, the first thing that goes when the economy is not doing well is our personal services. We start
Mm.
cutting those expenses.
Yep.
And so if you can
Yep.
work with companies and laboratories,
Yeah. Why not?
why not? It's
Have
there.
it's there. Have
And
that
it's not,
option.
it's there. And people are taking advantage, and I wish more of us would.
We need to. We need to. It helps you, like you said, it markets you, opens that door for you. Okay, Matilda, I want to thank you so much for coming in and pouring at this well. I didn't even expect to have this conversation with you. And I will tell everyone, all my listeners who listen, I didn't get through half of these questions because I trust where God brings our conversation, and I trust the things that we discussed today. And it blessed me. And I'm hoping that a lot of women out there are blessed by it. Matilda, before I close us out, I just want you to leave some of our listeners with just some words of encouragement, some hope to take with them throughout their journey, whether it's battling an illness, whether it's finding your way through your profession. Give us some advice to take along with us.
My advice would be, if you grab onto the thing that you love and believe with unshakable faith, faith in God, faith in yourself, faith in your journey, you will succeed. I'm a living testament to that. 9 years on dialysis, 7 days a week, and I still could make it happen. It is possible. It's possible. And even if you don't have an illness, get out of your own way. Stop telling yourself negative thoughts. Pump yourself up. Have a morning party every day if you need to. Pour into yourself. Love yourself, and everything else will follow.
Yes,
It will.
yes. I
It
love
will.
that so much.
Thank
Pour
you.
into yourself. And what I heard you say is have a morning party
Hmm. Every morning.
every morning.
I do it
Say,
every morning.
what do you say to yourself, Matilda?
I look in the mirror and I tell myself how beautiful I am, how much
Mm,
I love myself, and I
mm,
give God the day. God, this is your day.
mm,
However it goes, I'm just
mm,
following. I'm following your lead. I give God my day every day.
Okay, that's it is his anyway. You know what? And for many of y'all know who has been listening to me, and if you've been a guest of my podcast, I tell you all the time, I love to control things. And this is something that I am working on, but I love so much what you said. Give God your day. You know how smooth our day goes when we wake up with no plans. So, if I hear you correctly, and for those who are listening who's like me, wake up every day. You have your plans, but also give it to God, and just watch how much smoother your day will go. I'm gonna take that advice for myself. So I'm gonna let go and let God. Okay. Thank you so much, Matilda, for giving us that information and letting us know. Matilda, do you have a book?
I don't have a book. I'm in the process of just writing short stories about my life, answering different questions. So that's next on my list.
Oh, okay, we have a writing program. So you have a story. You have a story, sister, and you need to get it out there. And I love what you're doing. I love that you're talking about it. I would love to see your story and love to see you speaking to youth, speaking to women, speaking to people who are in your position. I realize even with all my trauma and all my past abuse, I had no idea until I start writing my books and start talking about it that I was not alone. I found people like they read there like Leah, I'm in the same boat. I am trying to work my way out of this. I'm trying to, like you said, get out of my own way. So you got to get your story out there. Okay. All right. I'm here, girl. Okay. Anyways. All right. Well, I will give everyone, Matilda, tell us where we can find you at. If they want to book you, if they want to hire you.
At
Yeah.
Matilda Marie Makeup, I do
Yeah.
have a website at www.matildamarie.com. All of my work, everything is there, all of my socials, my email. You can contact me if you want more information about how to get started in the film industry. I don't gatekeep. I'll give you what I have. So just email me. Yeah.
Yes, that is sisters helping sisters out. I love that you said you don't gatekeep. I love it. Listen, I will leave all Matilda's information in the description below. Follow her work, visit her site. It is so amazing. You are so talented, Matilda. Oh my gosh. If I can do half, I don't even listen. If you could just teach me how to do a smoky eye without me looking like I got a black eye, I'm all for it. Listen, look, I don't have no makeup. I can't do it because y'all not gonna have me out here looking crazy. So, okay, so please follow Matilda if for more information. Follow her if you have questions about how to get in the industry, how to do makeup. You want to book her for your next project. Get in touch with her. I'll leave the information in our description below. If you were blessed by this episode and you know a sister who can benefit from it, send it to them. Have them take a listen. We ask that you follow us, you like us on social media, subscribe to our channel. Until next time, perhaps you were chosen for such a time as this to write, to tell your story, your truth. Until next time, bye bye.